Welcome back, everyone, to another deep dive. This time we're diving deep into something called personal alchemy.
Ooh, that sounds intriguing.
It is. It's basically like taking those ancient alchemical processes, turning lead into gold and applying them to personal transformation.
So instead of transforming metals, we're transforming ourselves.
Exactly. We'll be exploring stages like blackening, whitening, yellowing, and reddening, all metaphors for our own growth.
I've always been fascinated by alchemy and its symbolism.
Me too. Plus, we'll try to unpack this whole idea of gold coloring glass red. Sounds like there's a lot to learn about how that connects to personal growth.
Definitely. It's amazing how those old alchemists weren't just messing around in their labs. They were really onto something much deeper. Personal alchemy uses their stages as metaphors for psychological and spiritual evolution.
So like they were working on outer and inner transformation at the same time.
Exactly.
Wow. Okay, so to start us off, can you give us some historical context on alchemy? What was it all about?
Sure. Well, you have to remember that for ancient alchemists, the quest to turn lead into gold wasn't just about getting rich.
Right, it was symbolic, right?
Yeah, it was deeply symbolic. Like, it was about achieving spiritual perfection. They believed the process refined and purified the soul.
So not just material wealth, but inner wealth too.
Exactly. They believed transforming base metals meant transforming themselves. It was a parallel process of refining the lead within and bringing out the gold of their true nature.
I like that. Okay, so how do these ancient alchemical stages apply to personal transformation?
Well, the first stage is blackening, or negrito. It can feel a bit like hitting rock bottom.
Okay.
It's about confronting your shadow self, your fears, and limitations you usually try to hide.
So facing our inner demons sounds intense.
It can be. Many people even try to avoid the stage altogether.
Really?
Yeah, they're afraid of their shadows. But alchemy teaches us that confronting those darker aspects of ourselves is the key to unlocking our true potential.
Okay, so like the saying, the greatest darkness lies within ourselves, but so does the greatest light.
Exactly.
I see what you mean. We can't really transform without acknowledging and working through those darker parts of ourselves.
Right.
Okay, so if blackening is about confronting our shadow selves, what's the next step?
Well, after blackening comes whitening, or albedo.
Okay.
It's a purification process, like cleansing a vessel to prepare it for something new. We let go of old patterns, limiting beliefs, and anything that no longer serves us.
So this is where practices like meditation or journaling could come in handy. Like they could help us identify and release those old patterns.
Yeah, exactly. Think of it like spring cleaning for the soul.
Okay, I like that.
You're making space for new growth, new possibilities.
Okay, so we've faced our shadows in blackening, done some serious inner cleansing and whitening. What happens next? Do we finally get to the gold?
Well, this is where things get really interesting. The next stage is yellowing, or citronitis. This is where we start to see the emergence of our true selves, our inner gold, so to speak.
After all that inner work, we finally start to see the light.
It's more like we start to become the light.
Wow.
It's a time of increased energy, creativity, and most importantly, a deeper understanding of our purpose. We connect with that inherent value within, symbolized by gold.
Okay, I'm really seeing how these ancient ideas can be applied to our lives today. What happens in that final stage, reddening?
So the final stage, reddening or rubedo, is the culmination of this journey. It's about embodying that transformed self and living with passion and purpose. You've confronted your shadows, purified your being, discovered your inner gold. Now it's about radiating that gold outward.
So it's not enough to just do the inner work.
Yeah.
We have to live it, express it in the world.
Exactly. You're not just knowing yourself, you're being yourself fully and authentically. The color red here symbolizes that passionate engagement with life, that warmth and vibrancy that comes from aligning with your true nature.
I see. And this is where that detail about gold coloring glass red comes in, right?
Yes.
How does that connect to the reddening stage?
It's so powerful. It suggests that the gold we cultivate within self-worth, purpose, inner strength is what colors our lives with passion and purpose, giving them that red hue.
Wow, that's a beautiful analogy.
Yeah.
It's like the gold we find with it isn't just for us to admire. It's the very thing that lets us paint our lives with passion and meaning. But let's take a step back and talk about the individual for a moment. After all, we're talking about personal alchemy. Where does the individual fit in?
Such an important point. Personal alchemy emphasizes the individual's unique journey.
Okay.
It recognizes that each of us holds within us the potential for transformation, for growth, becoming more than we currently are.
So it's like we're all carrying around little alchemical laboratories inside of us just waiting to be activated. What's the first step in activating that inner alchemist?
It all starts with self-awareness. Before we can transform, we need to understand where we're starting from.
Yeah.
What are our strengths, our weaknesses, what patterns and beliefs are holding us back? It's like mapping out the territory before you embark on an adventure.
Okay, so it's about taking stock of our inner landscape. What else is important in this initial phase?
Cultivating curiosity and a willingness to explore. Remember, personal alchemy is all about discovery.
Yeah.
Discovering those hidden depths within ourselves.
All right.
It's about asking questions, challenging our assumptions, being open to new perspectives.
That makes sense. But honestly, exploring those hidden depths, especially the shadow parts, can be pretty daunting. Any tips for those of us who might be a little scared to confront our shadow selves?
Absolutely. It's crucial to approach shadow work with compassion and self-care. It's not about judging yourself or getting lost in negativity. It's about bringing those hidden aspects into the light of awareness so you can integrate them and move forward.
So shadow work isn't about self-criticism, it's about self-understanding.
Exactly.
And we don't have to do this alone.
Right. Exactly. Therapists, mentors, and supportive communities can offer guidance and support. Think of them as alchemists who've traveled this path before.
Right.
They can offer wisdom and encouragement along the way.
So it's like having a trusted guide as we navigate those like dark and sometimes scary parts of ourselves. So we've talked about the importance of self-awareness, curiosity, and compassion as we navigate those first two stages,
Right.
blackening and whitening. What about the yellowing stage? What kind of mindset or approach is helpful as we step into this new awareness of self and start to see those glimmers of gold?
Well, this is where cultivating self-belief and trust in our intuition becomes crucial. As we uncover our inner gold, our talents, passions, and purpose,
Yeah.
it's so important to nurture those qualities and allow them to flourish.
So it's about embracing those things that make us feel alive, that light us up,
Exactly.
and trusting that inner voice that guides us toward our true path.
Exactly. It's about having faith in ourselves and our ability to create a life that is aligned with our authentic selves. And it's also about recognizing our inherent worthiness.
Okay.
The gold in this stage is a symbol of that inner value.
Right.
It's about knowing that we are inherently worthy of love, happiness, and fulfillment.
I love that. It's like we've spent all this time searching for something outside of ourselves when the real treasure has been within us all along. And this brings us to that final stage, reddening. What does it look like to fully embody this stage of integration and passionate engagement with the world?
Reddening is about bringing all that we've learned and integrated into our lives. It's about expressing our authentic selves, sharing our gifts with the world, and living with a sense of passion and purpose. Imagine that alchemist, after years of work, finally holding that piece of transmuted gold.
Yeah.
It's not meant to be hidden away. It's meant to be shared, to be used to create something beautiful and meaningful.
So it's not enough to just do the inner work. We have to actually bring it out into the world and let it shine.
Exactly.
Let our inner gold illuminate the world around us.
Precisely. And remember that beautiful symbolism of gold coloring glass red? It's suggesting that the gold we've cultivated within ourselves, our self-worth, purpose, and inner strength, actually colors our experience of life with passion and purpose.
It's like our inner transformation radiates outward, touching everything we do and everyone we interact with. That's powerful.
It is. And what's so beautiful about personal alchemy is that it's a continuous process of growth and evolution. We don't just reach reddening and stay there forever.
Right.
Life is full of cycles. Personal alchemy reflects that cyclical nature. We may go through periods of blackening, whitening, yellowing, and reddening many times throughout our lives.
So even after we've achieved a certain level of integration and self-realization, there's still more to discover, more to learn about ourselves.
Absolutely. Each cycle brings new challenges, new opportunities for growth, new layers of ourselves to uncover. It's like we're constantly refining and polishing that inner gold, making it shine even brighter.
I'm starting to see how this framework can be applied to so many different areas of life. Relationships, career, creativity, even our spiritual journeys. It's a way of understanding the ebb and flow of life, the challenges and the triumphs, and how they all contribute to our overall growth.
Exactly. It's a powerful lens through which to view our personal growth and evolution. And remember, each time we go through these stages, we emerge a little wiser, a little stronger, a little closer to our true selves.
Okay, so we've explored these 4 stages of personal alchemy and how they mirror those ancient alchemical processes. But how does this actually work in practice? What does it look like to embrace these stages in our daily lives?
That's a great question, and it's where the real work begins. You see, personal alchemy isn't just about intellectual understanding, it's about actively engaging in the transformation process. It requires a willingness to dive deep into our own psyche, confront our shadows, and actively cultivate those golden qualities.
So it's not like we just read about these stages and boom, we're transformed.
Right.
It takes effort, commitment, and maybe even some guidance along the way.
Exactly. Think of those ancient alchemists toiling away in their laboratories.
Right.
They had to carefully follow specific processes, experiment, and refine their techniques over time. And just like them, we need to be dedicated to the process, to showing up for ourselves even when it's challenging.
So how do we become our own personal alchemists? What are some of the tools or practices we can use to facilitate this transformation?
There are many paths. What works for one person may not work for another, but there are some common threads.
Okay.
Practices like meditation, journaling, shadow work, and engaging in creative pursuits can be incredibly helpful. It's about creating space for introspection, reflection, and creative expression.
So it's about tuning into ourselves, paying attention to our inner world, and finding healthy ways to process our experiences and express our unique gifts.
Exactly. And remember, just like those alchemists, we're likely to encounter challenges along the way. There will be times when we feel stuck, frustrated, or even tempted to give up.
And what do we do when those inevitable roadblocks appear? How do we keep that alchemical fire burning even when the going gets tough?
Well, that's where the principles of alchemy can offer guidance. Remember the blackening stage?
Yeah.
It teaches us that facing our fears and limitations is essential for growth. So when we encounter challenges, instead of avoiding them, we can ask ourselves, what is this difficulty trying to teach me?
Right.
What shadow aspects need to be acknowledged and integrated?
So those challenges aren't setbacks. They're actually opportunities for deeper self-discovery.
Exactly.
They're like the fire that tempers the metal, making it stronger and more resilient.
Precisely. It's about shifting our perspective and seeing those darker moments not as failures, but as integral parts of the transformative process. And as we move through the whitening stage, we can draw on practices that help us let go of what no longer serves us.
Yeah.
This might involve exploring limiting beliefs, releasing unhealthy attachments, or forgiving ourselves and others.
It's like we're shedding those old layers that are weighing us down so we can step into our true selves.
Yeah.
What about when we reach that golden stage of yellowing? How do we nurture those emerging qualities of self-worth and purpose?
This is where practices that cultivate self-love, creativity, and connection to our inner wisdom become essential. Things like spending time in nature, engaging in activities that bring us joy, and nurturing our passions can help us embody that golden energy.
It's like we're feeding our inner gold, helping it grow and shine even brighter.
Yes.
And finally, when we reach that stage of reddening, it's about bringing all of those golden qualities out into the world
Yes.
and expressing them in a way that feels authentic and aligned.
Exactly. It's about sharing our gifts, contributing to something greater than ourselves, and living with a sense of purpose and fulfillment. And remember, personal alchemy is a lifelong journey.
Right.
There's no final destination, no point at which we've achieved perfect golden status. It's about continually refining and transforming ourselves, embracing the cyclical nature of growth.
That's really resonating with me. It takes the pressure off striving for some kind of perfect state and instead invites us to embrace the ongoing process of transformation.
Yeah.
To see every experience, every challenge, every triumph as an opportunity to deepen our self-awareness and refine our being.
Absolutely. And it reminds us that those blackening stages, while often challenging, are actually catalysts for growth. They force us to confront those aspects of ourselves that are holding us back, ultimately leading to deeper self-awareness and a more authentic way of being.
So it's not about avoiding the darkness. It's about learning to alchemize it into something more luminous, to find the gold hidden within those challenging experiences. This has been such an eye-opening deep dive. I feel like I have a whole new perspective on personal growth and the power of ancient wisdom to guide us on that journey.
It's been a pleasure exploring these concepts with you. What stands out to you the most from our discussion?
Wow.
What really resonated with you on a personal level?
Honestly, the symbolism of gold coloring glass red has really captured my imagination. It's such a potent reminder that the inner work we do, that process of discovering and nurturing our golden qualities, is what ultimately allows us to live more vibrantly and purposefully. It's like we're not just transforming ourselves, we're transforming our experience of life itself.
That's a beautiful takeaway. It reminds us that personal transformation isn't just about self-improvement. It's about radiating that inner light outwards, coloring the world around us with our unique essence. It's about embracing the alchemical process, the cycles of darkness and light, the challenges and the triumphs, and trusting that it's all leading us toward a more authentic and fulfilling expression of who we truly are.
Yeah, it's so empowering to think we have that ability, to shape our own transformation, to become the alchemists of our own lives. Like, we're not just passive recipients of fate, we're active participants,
Right.
creating the lives we want to live.
That's the heart of it. Personal alchemy reminds us that we have the power to transmute our experiences, to find the gold hidden within those challenges, emerge from the fire stronger, more radiant than before. It's a lifelong journey of self-discovery and transformation, and it's available to every one of us.
I love that. It's like we're all works in progress, right?
Yeah.
Constantly evolving and becoming more of who we're meant to be. So as we wrap up this deep dive, what's one key takeaway you hope our listeners will take with them? What's that one golden nugget of wisdom?
I'd say the most important thing to remember is that personal alchemy isn't about achieving perfection. It's about embracing the process, all its ups and downs,
Right.
and trusting that even in the darkest moments, there's an opportunity for growth and transformation. It's about remembering that we all have that inner gold within us, just waiting to be discovered and shared with the world.
Beautiful. So to our listeners out there, we encourage you to embrace your own personal alchemy.
Yes.
Explore those shadow depths with courage and compassion. Purify and refine your being, and let your inner gold shine brightly.
And never forget, you're not alone on this journey. There's a whole community of fellow alchemists out there, ready to support and encourage you along the way.
Thank you so much for joining us on this deep dive into personal alchemy.
Thank you.
We hope it's given you some valuable insights, maybe even inspired you to embark on your own transformative journey. Until next time, keep seeking, keep growing, and keep alchemizing your life into something truly extraordinary.